What was the most disappointing, tourist-infested place you've ever been? I'm sure other cities have this problem, too, but there's an epidemic in NYC of pop-up museums that are essentially just Instagram backgrounds. There are some great temporary exhibits in the city all the time that genuinely have cool artwork, or historical items, or just make for a neat experience. And then there's ones that just have a bunch of backdrops for people to pose in front of and maybe a placard. Special shout out to the Museum of Candy that was hosted in a random warehouse and where you didn't even get any candy with your ticket admission. Las Ramblas in Barcelona, what a pickpocket paradise. The room with the Mona Lisa in it. Couldn't get anywhere near it, and it's not that big of a painting to see from the back of the room when all the people in front of you had giant cameras. Maybe it's better in the age of cell phone cameras, but I doubt it. Edited to add, I am so excited many of you agree with me. I saw the Mona Lisa when I was 18 back in 2005, and many other pieces in the Louvre partly led to my getting a degree in the history of art. But, damn, that was a crowded room. Every cruise ship port in the Caribbean. Hollywood Boulevard, literally a worse version of New York Times Square, which also sucks. My own city in the last 10 years. Amsterdam really took a nosedive. Lots of unique little shops disappeared in favor of approximate 10 million frozen yogurt/chocolate waffle stores. Tourists used to be a few chill, cheery groups interested in the city they were in. Now they sometimes look like hordes of zombies hobbling from one tourist trap to the other. Painstakingly slowly, and of course taking up the whole sidewalk. The Leaning Tower of Pisa. A field of tourists trying to take a picture of the tower without other tourists in it, and souvenir shops trying to sell those tourist stuff. Nassau, Bahamas. It was like being in a very expensive prison. Venice in August, I felt bad being there. Luckily was only a day trip, but it was like something from a horror film. Yellowstone NP is fantastic when it's just you or a few other people. However, most of the main sites are so full of people it really feels like Disney World at some points instead of nature. It's also infuriating when I see so many tourists disrespecting the nature by walking off of the paths/boardwalks and leaving trash around. The Sistine Chapel. It was incredible to see in person, but it was literally shoulder to shoulder with people, and they were trying to usher everyone through as fast as possible, so I felt like I was in the way and couldn't stay long. I would have loved to just gaze quietly at the ceiling and take it all in for several minutes, but that wasn't an option. The Little Mermaid statue in Copenhagen was underwhelming. To be fair though, I shouldn't really have expected to be whelmed by a Little Mermaid statue. Dubrovnik after God. So many Khaleesi's. Oxford Street, Central London. The place for you if you enjoy claustrophobic levels of crowding, overpriced/borderline fraudulent retail, traffic that barely moves, groups of roadmen/hood teens everywhere. Hollywood was such a tourist trap. I guess, see it once but expect to be disappointed. Lot of fake guys wanting to get money from you because they dressed up like Spider-Man. Any tourist destination in Bali. Beautiful place, amazing food, stunning vistas, friendly people, but the pushy salespeople on the street outside every tourist destination trying to extract every rupiah I had for tourist knickknacks ruined a lot of the good vibe. Plymouth Rock. Myrtle Beach. Just don't go. I live in a tourist city, Bath, and it's an absolute nightmare in summer and around Christmas. Times Square, NYC. It's just a bunch of screens. I'm not joking, that's it. New York City is an amazing place, but please avoid this giant tourist distraction that offers nothing. Side note, and for those who want to see the Statue of Liberty, since you can't go up in the crown anymore, the trip isn't really worth the unbelievable line, IMO. Just take the Staten Island ferry, and you'll get close to the statue and pass at a leisurely pace. Then hop on the ferry back. Unless, you know, you want to hang out in Staten Island, which is entirely your prerogative, I mean, you do you. Edit, a word. Mount Rushmore, the land around it is 1000x more spectacular to look at than the fucking Rock LOL. Orlando most of the year but in particular the summertime. Cabo San Lucas. It's certainly pretty, and the tourists aren't the problem, it's that you can't go anywhere in town or on the beaches without being constantly hounded by people trying to sell you stuff. Sadly I live there. Nashville, Tennessee. Niagara Falls, overrun during the summer. The Ontario side is the tackiest of tourist destinations, the New York side is a great place to get shot in the face. This will be an odd one, but Northeast Georgia during leaf season. I'm a local, so once it starts it's time to find alternative routes. It gets so bad during peak that emergency vehicles are not able to safely reach their destination. However, places like Dahlonega and Blue Ridge depends on the commerce, so it slightly reduces our taxes. Never go to the Van Gogh immersive experience, it's the biggest bit of malarkey I've ever paid $50 for. You're just trapped inside a blurry, underwhelming PowerPoint presentation where the art is not even presented in logical sequence and the music is arse. Tourist infested? Prague. But it wasn't disappointing at all. I can't bitch about tourists when I'm one of them. Hollywood Boulevard. Ground Zero in NYC. It wasn't so much the number of tourists, but rather the number of smiling selfies being taken. It felt like it was in bad taste. Savannah, Georgia. We went on a weekend thinking Southern gentility / quirky midnight in the Garden of Evil. Instead it was bachelorette parties, those bicycle bar things with lots of woo-woo girls, and drunken frat guys vibe. It was much like Bourbon Street with the rowdy drunks. Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. The only good thing there is Dolly Parton herself. Wondering people who are commenting, did they visit the place as a tourist themselves? Salem, Massachusetts. I knew there would be a ton of witch hunt hype, but I wanted to see 17th century buildings and locations, not dozens of cheesy gift shops. Prague was absolutely beautiful, but holy shit, the amount of tourists and general chaos in the busy squares really dampened the mood a bit. Bourbon Street, New Orleans. I don't want to sell my shoes to you, and I don't want to give everyone on the street a cigarette. Just didn't feel safe at all, and there wasn't much jazz playing either, day and evening. Lovely city though. Cairo, all of Cairo. Gatlinburg, Tennessee. It is a clown town. An affront to polite society. There are brick and mortar funnel cake businesses. There's a Ripley's Believe It or Not museum. It's like someone took a carnival and made it permanent. The big Christmas tree at Rockefeller Center, NYC around Christmas. So packed I got just close enough to barely squeeze myself out. Didn't even really see the tree. That area always looks so nice in movies. Person shrugging. Times Square also. Straight up stressful just being there. And I still don't understand why gridlock traffic everyone feels the need to beep their horn constantly as if there is anywhere to go. I'm just too country boy, I guess. Roswell, NM. I'm somewhat of a sci-fi nerd. For starters, and to give you a general sense of the experience, we came across like one alien-themed store in the city. And one pathetic little sci-fi museum that was just a small space in a strip mall filled with the most unimpressive pieces of crap like glow-in-the-dark posters for sale. I guess I expected the Roswell incident to have a somewhat prominent presence in the city. Also, there was a sci-fi convention happening at the time for the 60th anniversary of the Roswell incident. This was part of how I timed the trip. This convention took up only 1/4 of the ballroom. It was mostly self-published authors of various levels credibility and patheticness. Okay, so the one bright side was I met Langley from the X-Files. That was cool, but Roswell in general is just like any other city and apparently takes no pride in its place in sci-fi history. Disappointing, and a long drive.